Welcome back, everyone. We're here again on YouTube and LinkedIn with another exciting episode of the Top Innovator Series. This is where we dive into game-changing strategies, leadership ideas, and of course, we hear from the people behind that. My name is Josef Martens, and I'm thrilled to introduce our guest today. With us today is Brett Talmadge. Brett is the former CIO of Nisqually Casino. Before that, he held other tech executive roles for various other companies, and today we're thrilled to have Brett with us. Brett, it's great to have you here in the conversation.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Brett, the topic is leadership journeys, and you're clearly successful in your leadership journey. So we'd love to hear your insights on that. When you reflect on your own journey as a leader, as you developed, as you grew as a leader, what do you think are some of the reasons for your success? What are the ingredients for your success?
It would be ingrained into me from a long time ago, teamwork. The
Okay.
just the yeah, the just the foundational principle of teamwork.
Okay. Okay. Is that something that was clear to you the whole time that this would be important, or is that something that you discovered as you grew?
I discovered it as I
Okay.
grew. I recently had a conversation with someone about if I work better solo or in a group, and it's changed over time, that answer.
Okay. Was there an incident or was there a flashbulb moment? I think that's what I'm asking for. Or was that more of an evolution?
Yeah, that one I think was just a flashpoint. It was like, yeah, this is a
Okay.
no-brainer.
Tell us the
Yeah.
story. Okay, tell us what happened.
Yeah. So I can rewind back, right? So when I was in grade school growing up, I was in the Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts, and then got involved in sports. I was always involved in something in all of my grade levels through high school into college, even always part of some type of different extracurricular activity. So I think that's a key part of uh, that mindset for
Hmm.
success. It helps tremendously. I'm not saying that everybody has to do that, but it sure does help in identifying groups of people and how to get everybody to get on the same page, right? Um, and so with my identifying whether I'm a better group worker or solo
Hmm.
worker, uh, and this all stemmed from the COVID. We all went through it. We
Mm.
all got locked down,
Yep.
and we had to,
Hmm.
be isolated,
Sure.
which was its whole own topic in itself, right? So I had accepted. I'd been working in that capacity as we all had for a while, and was wanting to look for something more out of life. And that's what ended me up here
Mm.
in Washington State. We were living in New York City at the time when the pandemic happened. And
Okay.
it was just, it touches us all in different ways. And so we realized that we wanted to be more around family, and our family was out here in Washington State. And so when I accepted a job out here, I figured out any tech job would work. I just wanted to be close to family. And so I found one where I was sitting upstairs by myself in this big, beautiful lodge. And I was by myself all day. And there was, you know, about 20 or 30 people all in across the property. And it just felt like a prison. Um,
Hmm.
I was a solo. I was the one man band for the IT department,
Wow.
CIO to tech, right? I owned all of those hats. Um,
Wow.
and it
So
was
you were
just
the hotline as well. You were also the
I
hotline
was
that
the hotline.
okay.
I was all of it. And
Okay.
I realized I'm not having any fun because
Hmm.
I've always attributed IT, information technology, right, to the medical community as well. You're most of the time when you see people, it's when they're having a problem, from the help desk side, right?
Okay.
And that's how nurses and trauma units, they're all always seeing people when they need help, and they need help now. And so it's a very non-rewarding or not, unthankful job, because after it's done, I'm sure you get the thanks and all that, but you're moving on to the
Yeah.
next problem, the next problem.
Yeah.
We're not here for thanks, right? Um, and we're here, but we're here as professionals to do a job, and we all love doing it well. And I realized I'm not excelling. I wasn't being creative. I wasn't, there was a lot of my areas of just day to day that wasn't innovative. It had no passion, right? And I had to look in. I'm like, why is it? Why am I Why
Yeah.
is this just a job to me now? Why am I not having fun? And I realized I need to be around people. I need a team. That's just how I am. So identifying that, and that was years and years ago, right? Um, but it wasn't too long ago that it's
Mm.
relatively recent in the
Right.
grand scheme of things. But you realize you need to anyways identify what type of person you are. Those personality uh, tests and characteristics tests and assessments, they're they're good. People should take them. I've taken a few of them, and sometimes they're spot on. Sometimes it makes me think, why is it getting these results? What is it about me? Because sometimes we got to look and say,
Hmm.
hey, is it me? Um, and so the assessments help to identify some things that you never really thought about. So I've
Yep.
taken some of those as part of some leadership strategic conferences that we've attended on the executive level, some of these team building events and stuff. Um, those are really, I think I've found those to be really beneficial along the way
Yep.
as well.
Yep. Very cool. That's a neat story. Thanks for sharing that, Brett. Um, Let me take another look at sort of what the formative parts of your leadership journey were. I imagine you had mentors, you had trusted advisors, or people who were following you on your journey. When you think of them, or role models, right? When you think of them, what is some advice or some practice that they had that really resonated with you? Something that maybe you even hold on today?
There's one man in particular.
Okay.
He was a mentor of mine. Um, we still keep in touch to this day, and he is the one that got me into a real management role, right? And really uh, got me. He pulled me from the engineering and technical side into the leadership side. And I wasn't. I told him I wasn't ready to go. I didn't believe, but he saw something in me. He believed in me, and he told me we had many long talks because it was intimidating.
Hmm.
We were we were responsible for hedge funds, multiple hedge funds,
Hmm.
large hedge funds, right? Um, and it was a really high visible, high stress job, and everybody knew it. It took a special person to be able to lead that team, and I wouldn't have chose me, but he did. The thing about him that where it gave credibility to what he was saying to me, what caused me to completely pause and listen to what this man had to say to me, was the way that he carried himself day in and day out. Every day he was there for us every day. He didn't call out. He wasn't one to call out sick. He wasn't one to he was there. He was just always there. He wasn't a yeller. He was a very calm person, had a very calm um even keel, right? He was really cool, and he let us he made us think, challenged us always to think. But it was his presence of all his
Yeah.
consistency in being there, and then his constant challenging us to make us think about things, just stuff that we weren't even working on. It would be like, how many restaurants do you think there are in Australia? Come up with a query. It was just and we
Okay.
had he made the job fun. But he was very respectful. He knowed he knowed oh my goodness, he knew when he he just held himself as a very respectful man. He didn't cuss, he
Yep.
didn't swear a lot. He would drop a every once in a while. Sometimes it's appropriate, but he was a very respectful person and just came in, and it didn't lose his cool a lot. I saw him, get upset a few times here and there. But because we're human, right? He was very, very real, but
Yeah.
very consistent.
Yeah. You
I,
describe him in such a lively and warm way. He really left quite the impression.
yes, he
Hmm.
did. And when he was older, he was an older gentleman, right?
Okay.
He was doing technical stuff. He was a technician. He went to college in the '60s, and he was in the workforce in the '70s and in '80s. And so come the '90s, 2000s, he's just about ready to retire. Should
Yeah.
have anyway. So on his birthday, we made him a meme and put his face. He was Moses.
That is lovely. I hope he took it in good spirits.
Carrying the 10 Commandments. It was
Yeah.
great. It was
Yeah.
funny. It was fun. But no, his consistency and his
Mm.
respectfulness really were the things that I have really embraced.
Yeah.
And to this day, right, it comes out, it surfaces itself on a daily basis. I've had some of I don't like to pat myself on the back, too much, but I have one-on-ones with all of my team. My most recent team had 27 people.
Okay.
They didn't all report directly to
Mhm.
me. I'm the CIO, right? So I had managers and but I had one-on-ones with every single person in that department regularly, right? Um, and that was just to get to know them. And so many times, the guys and girls would tell me how impactful and how
Mm.
much of a great change I've made for their life. And it was really just I never yelled. I never yelled
Mhm.
at people. I took the traits that my mentor gave to me that
Yeah.
showed, and it was, I mean, I built just such a great team. Everywhere I've gone, the
That's
thing that
wonderful.
I get,
Mhm.
they say, why is Brett's team so happy? And they are. We get motivated, we get excited. I give
Yeah.
them that passion.
Yeah.
All those things that I realized that I was missing in those days when I was working up in that lodge. Um, I have
Yeah.
committed to
Yeah.
delivering that to my team to make sure we spend so much time in the office and at work. We should enjoy it. It should be something we look
Yeah.
forward to, not dread. I have that talk with my team quite often. If you're dreading coming to work, let me know.
Yep.
I don't want you to come in here. I
Yeah.
don't want anybody. I want it to be something you're really looking forward to and having fun,
Yeah.
right? I bought this big neon sign for my team this about 4 months ago. It says, "We are the fun."
I love it.
Well, it's a
No.
casino, right? But
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
guys need to
Mm.
understand the reason why all of the people are having all the fun down on the floor is because we provide a really awesome service. All of our systems are top notch and are running the best that they can. And we're making it fun because we are the fun because we're having fun doing what we're doing. If you're not, it's backwards.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. Now we talked about the past, Brett, past part of your past journey. I'd like to take a look at today now. And again, this is not a question about companies or positions or so. It's really about your leadership journey still. When you look at where you are today, what's an area where you think there's still room for growth? There is a next level possible. There's something that you
Yeah.
can focus on and discover more.
Transparency. uh sometimes I've learned I am too transparent.
Okay.
uh yeah, there from growing up in Oklahoma, I grew up in a really, really small town. And like I said, Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, sports. I was,
Hmm.
played all multiple sports, multiple teams. And then I was in the Marine Corps, team. And, everybody
Hmm.
needs, you can't, not share information because that's when bad things happen. So it's part of my character has just been sharing the
Hmm.
information that's pertinent that I think you need to know this is happening.
Hmm.
And I've learned it over my journey that that's not necessarily true for everybody on the team. All right. There's some
Yeah.
things that, because it's hard to understand the differences in people and differences in cultures, right? I, I shared some information with one of my senior engineers at this one place, and didn't realize that he was a chronic warrior, whatever the term is for that.
Yeah.
He was a chronic, like
Yeah.
he had to take medication for it. And I shared with him just some information about a migration that wasn't going just right. It wasn't anything he needed to know at the time. And I told him that. I think it was on a Thursday afternoon, and then I wasn't there. I saw him on Tuesday. He looked horrible. I said, "What's wrong?" He told me he hadn't slept since what I told him. And I'm like, "Oh my goodness." And I realized right then and there, you know what? Sometimes there's information because it was irrelevant. He
Yeah.
worried himself nothing.
Again, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So I think that's one of the things that I've
Mm.
learned the most key for me is withholding certain information
Yeah.
that that doesn't
Because
need to
it's
be
just not helpful, because it just doesn't
right,
help anyone. Yep, I
right.
get it. Yep, very cool. Let's take a quick look at the future now. Let's imagine we were to have this conversation again in 5 years. And we're talking about leadership in 5 years, thinking back onto the last years. What do you think we'd be reflecting on, or maybe be nostalgic about? What do you think is going to change in leadership in the next 5 years? And
Oh my
mm,
goodness. So it's cheating now. Uh, a large portion of leadership, as far as teams are, is having those one-on-one conversations with people, um, and performance evaluations, right? And career
correct.
development, right?
Hmm.
Um, it has taken historically in the past such an extraneous amount of time to get each one of those done, right? So you
Hmm.
couldn't really focus and give any one of them the 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 uh, the importance that they needed, right? The focus that they needed to really do a knockout job. I've had some performance reviews I'm thinking of, in the past that have come across my desk that it's just, it's like cut and paste for everyone. And that's not the way to do it. Like, you need to take time. And I think that's going to be one of the greatest things that with the advent of AI and
Mm.
agentic AI into the leadership and admin workspaces, being able to get all of that done to actually put together an actual career objective and with real solid plans that you can follow up and action on. And I just see companies really developing some A-level talent. Um, it's just knowing how fast that you
Yep.
can produce the things that have taken time. I don't even know. I don't
Yeah.
even know.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to wildly paraphrase what you said now. It sounds like the bureaucratic part of leadership will become easier. Is that fair to say? Something like that? Or
Mhm.
the, yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Okay. Brett, let me ask you one last question and then we're going to land the plane. If you could make a change to how other people lead or how many leaders lead, let's say you had a magic wand and you could make a change and inspire other people or help them and become better leaders, what would you do?
I would mandate that every department meets with every department uh, on a
Okay.
regular basis. That's just one really easy, quick fix.
Yeah.
I've seen it in so many different companies where they don't really do that.
Yeah.
They don't. They're not on the same page at all because they're not touch. They don't have cadence calls. They
Yeah.
don't know what each other's doing. Um, yeah, taking down silos and unifying the whole company instead of, is a must. The other thing, I Jack Welch as one of the um, most intensive leadership programs and
Mm.
book series that I've dove into to really pull substance out of it. And another key thing that is would be like what I've taken from my mentor is be there, be present, be where your people are at, right?
Yeah.
You can't be in New York and
Yeah.
be managing a team in
No,
Oklahoma
that's really
and
tough.
and
Hmm.
stay out there and
Yeah.
never come. And it's just you're not going to build a team.
Yeah. Yep.
You want to build some integrity and some discipline. Together, you've got to have that respect and that camaraderie first.
Yep. Yep. Brett, thank you so much. It's been absolutely awesome having you in the conversation here. Thank you.
Well, yeah, thanks. I appreciate it being.
To everyone else out there, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Join us again for our next episode. And most importantly, keep your brain cells active.